Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky sent shockwaves through the international community with a recent statement. In an interview with Ukrainian public broadcaster Suspilny, Zelensky claimed that the ongoing war with Russia would end faster under a Trump presidency. This statement, laden with implications, has ignited debates about the potential trajectory of the conflict under a new administration in Washington. Zelensky's assertion stems from a phone call he had with former President Trump. The Ukrainian leader described the conversation as constructive, hinting at a shared understanding of the situation. This perceived alignment, Zelensky believes, could pave the way for a quicker resolution if Trump were to return to the White House. The Ukrainian president's statement comes at a time when the conflict with Russia has entered a particularly brutal phase. With no end in sight to the bloodshed, Zelensky's words reflect a desperate yearning for peace and a belief that Trump might hold the key to unlocking a negotiated settlement. The international community, particularly Ukraine's Western allies, is now left to grapple with the potential ramifications of Zelensky's statement. The coming months will reveal whether his gamble on Trump will yield a swift resolution or further complicate an already volatile situation. Zelensky's belief in a faster resolution under Trump hinges on the concept of a just peace for Ukraine. This, he stresses, remains the paramount objective for his administration. Zelensky emphasized that Ukraine, as a sovereign nation, engages in dialogue with various world leaders, including those from the US and Europe. He refuted the notion that Ukraine is merely a passive actor, taking orders from its allies. Zelensky underscored his commitment to direct engagement with Trump, rather than relying on intermediaries. This direct line of communication, he believes, is crucial for achieving tangible progress towards peace. Zelensky's vision of a just peace entails the preservation of Ukraine's territorial integrity, the return of Ukrainian citizens forcibly deported to Russia, and accountability for war crimes. These non-negotiable principles, he believes, are better understood and supported by Trump than the current U.S. administration. Whether this belief is grounded in reality or wishful thinking remains to be seen. Donald Trump has repeatedly asserted his ability to resolve the Ukraine conflict rapidly, even going so far as to claim he could achieve it within a day. However, his stance on the continuation of U.S. support for Kiev has been marked by inconsistency. During his campaign, Trump and his running mate, J.D. Vance, expressed reservations about the extent of Western aid to Ukraine. Despite these doubts, Trump remains confident in his ability to negotiate a swift end to the war. However, he has remained tight-lipped on the specifics of his strategy. This lack of clarity has fueled speculation and skepticism in equal measure. Critics argue that Trump's approach risks undermining Ukraine's sovereignty and emboldening Russia. They point to his past praise for Vladimir Putin and his reluctance to criticize the Russian invasion as evidence of his pro-Russia leanings. Trump's supporters, on the other hand, believe that his unconventional approach and deal-making skills could be the key to breaking the diplomatic deadlock. Section 4. The Battlefield Reality, a Grim Backdrop. Zelensky's pronouncements about a swift resolution under Trump come against a backdrop of a brutal and unrelenting war. The situation on the ground in Ukraine remains dire, with both sides locked in a deadly stalemate. Russian forces have intensified their offensive, particularly in eastern Ukraine, inflicting heavy casualties and displacing millions. The human cost of the conflict continues to mount, with each passing day bringing fresh reports of atrocities and suffering. Cities and towns lie in ruins, bearing testament to the indiscriminate brutality of the fighting. The ongoing counteroffensive by Ukrainian forces, while yielding some territorial gains, has come at a heavy price. The slow and grinding nature of the advance highlights the challenges faced by Ukrainian troops in dislodging entrenched Russian forces. The ferocity of the fighting underscores the urgency of finding a diplomatic solution. Yet, the path to peace remains elusive, with both sides seemingly entrenched in their positions. Section 5. Diplomatic Tightrope, Challenges and Hopes. Zelensky's phone call with Trump, while described as constructive, has done little to clarify the path towards a negotiated settlement. The Ukrainian president remains tight-lipped on the specifics of their conversation, leaving the international community to speculate about potential concessions or demands. Adding to the complexity, U.S. legislation currently prevents Zelensky from meeting with Trump in person before his potential inauguration in January. Despite this obstacle, Zelensky remains adamant about engaging directly with Trump, bypassing intermediaries. The international community, while cautiously optimistic about any efforts to end the bloodshed, remains divided on Trump's potential role. Critics, particularly within the Democratic Party, view Trump's approach as detrimental to Ukraine's interests, fearing that he may pressure Zelensky into accepting a deal that favors Russia. Republican lawmakers, on the other hand, have expressed support for Trump's involvement, believing that his negotiation skills and willingness to engage with Putin could lead to a breakthrough. The coming months will be crucial in determining whether Zelensky's gamble on Trump will pay off or backfire, with the fate of Ukraine hanging precariously in the balance.